the crowd.
I'm not, but I'll show it to you guys.
Yeah,
this
cool.
Is some of the best beef jerky on the market. It's Mighty Beef Jerky. It's organic. It's chipotle lime. Honestly, as big of a fan as I am of the spice, and I also like lime. It's a little bit limey. It's a little bit on the limey side.
Too acidic, or too like gets that back of your tongue.
Yeah, just a little bit too much lime. Just a little bit too much. They need to back off. Back off.
Back off, Jack.
That's right. Man, I have this guy. He lives locally, and he makes hot sauce.
Let's see who that is. We just got a comment that said, "Hi, gents." So I'm going to go, and I'm assuming that's coming from the Art of Email Marketing group, and I'm going to see who that is.
Cool. Welcome, and good morning.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I was working on this project called I Love Hot Peppers, and I was
Chris Lang. What's up, Chris? Sorry.
Oh, Chris. Awesome. Hey, Gene. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Gene. Yo.
I was working on this project called I Love Hot Peppers, and it got disrupted. Honestly, it got disrupted in me because of the whole divorce situation. It was a side project, and it threw me off my game. And I love hot peppers so much, and like my first company was a salsa company. I've been seriously thinking about reviving it. There's a dude who lives locally in the next town over who makes his own hot sauce. He's from New Jersey, and he's about my age, and he has a hot sauce company. I'm like, oh, I really want to help him market it. And every time we talk about the Oholic factor, right? We've been talking about this a lot with our NPod clients, and yesterday, which was an awesome training we did with them, you did your presentation, kind of the 100,000 foot overview of NPod, and just kind of a refresher for everyone to get everybody back on point.
Yeah.
And you talked about how we, use the audience first approach. It's very non-traditional view of marketing, and anyone who's been a direct response marketer and has benefited from the magic powers of having that right when it's working in the right way knows the audience first approach is the key. Like, that is the secret sauce. That is the magic.
Right.
And we were talking about.
And it's easy to forget that sometimes and get off course, even if you're seasoned.
Yeah, totally easy. It's very easy to get caught up in your own stuff and your own ideas and your own thoughts and the products you're creating, and because you're doing it all and you're the center of attention, right? But it's easy to remember that no, in fact, you're not the center of attention, or you shouldn't be.
Right.
But
it's easy to think you are.
Oh yeah, that's right. For all of us, right?
Right.
And so we were talking about the Oholic factor, and I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. And I always think about, actually, I've told you about these. I don't know if I've showed them to you before. I love the hot pepper world and the chili heads because of, this is a few years old, but this is one of the.
That's the one. Yeah, the one. I think you did show us way long ago, that one chip. Yeah,
the one chip challenge, and it's Halloween time, which means they're doing it again. And it's a coffin, and it has all this great copy on the inside. Any last words? The Reaper is waiting.
That's awesome.
And then it's like,
it's fun.
Yeah. Well, it's fun until you're like on the floor convulsing.
No, but like the marketing is fun.
Super fun.
The
Yeah,
challenge.
Really, really good. And I was thinking about how to get customers addicted.
Christopher.
Right? Are emails a virtual gender on the interwebs? That's right.
On the Facebook, on the internet, on the online.
That's right. So my wife is a Mexican food blogger. We have lots of chili peppers roasting in this house. Nice. Awesome. Dude, if she's a Mexican food blogger, you totally have permission to drop that link in the comments. Normally we don't necessarily encourage a lot of blatant self-promotion because it can turn into a
free for all
real fast, but like I would totally read your wife's Mexican food blog.
Hell yeah.
So, but we were talking about the idea of having Oholic customers and people that just love buying the stuff. And obviously, if you're oholic, I mean, you're addicted like that. It's kind of like a blatant reference to addiction, and it's obviously something a lot of people face and struggle with, even if they're not facing it. And so I was thinking about how to create customers that are addicted to buying from you. And one of the ways to create customers that are addicted to buying from you is provide a product or service that people are already addicted to buying. Okay. to those people. And
it's not complicated.
Well, it's actually kind of silly. So I'm like, okay, the majority of my desk is covered with marketing material and business related stuff.
In mamamaggieskitchen.com. I love it. Nice. That's awesome, Christopher.
However, just on my desk, just because, I mean, I just grabbed this from across my office, but we also have this bottle of hot sauce. And like, this is not planted here. This is just like my daily life. And this bottle of hot sauce, this is made from the guy I was telling you about. We got the jerky. I think that's all the spicy stuff I have on my desk at the moment. But like, I love this stuff. This is a key element to building a successful audience, guys, is be part of the audience that you want to grow. Okay. Love the same stuff that audience loves.
Which shouldn't be hard if you're oholic about it as well.
You're already a fan, and build a following around it. Build a following around it, right? This is the first step of building a successful email list or building the type of business that Joshua and I work together to teach you guys how to build in our process. And so the title of this particular live stream is Pop Quiz. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is email marketing to your business? And so I would ask you that question. How important is email marketing to your business? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm genuinely curious. In Mama Maggie's kitchen. All right. That's a lot of M's. In Mama Maggie's kitchen.com. All right, cool. So what do you think, Joshua? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is email marketing to your list?
It's the engine. It's everything. It's the heart and soul of it, as far as I'm concerned. Not that other platforms aren't important. Not that, obviously like what we're doing here, the Facebook is, but that's all feeders to the email list and to the asset. It's the business asset. It's the business engine, in my opinion, in at least the way that I choose to build my businesses out. And that's where income for life comes from. When you build it, it's I don't know how to do it without email.
When you've been focused on your I'm going to say post lotto. Okay. Like when really building personalized email lists, like let's say after you got out of the 90s, going into the early 2000s.
But don't forget, I was simultaneously accidentally building a very, very relationship driven list that I just let kind of go in the the background.
And that was the MLM.
While I was, the info list. Yeah.
Like basically how to become a better multi-level marketer kind of a thing.
But that actually got started. I started building that in 97 prior to, that's what led me to the Lotto people. Okay.
Interesting. I didn't realize I had that timeline backwards on that. Well,
yes and no. I mean, like I had no idea what I was doing. Everything with the MLM Success Tips was all the accidental, right? Like I was just getting my legs, and I became partners with the people that with building the Lotto site, through outreach to find people that, because they did lead generation. But prior to building the Lotto site, they did lead gen for multi-level marketing companies. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I made the leap from just selling the info product into designing lead campaigns, because I originally contacted them to see if they could promote as an affiliate my product.
Right. So, you and I have been talking behind the scenes about the difference in the way that the internet and internet marketing has changed over the years. of going wide to going more narrow when their approach with your audience. And
I feel like I'm in marketer rehab.
that's good. I'm glad. I think that we're going to get the results that we're going to get are going to be better and better as
for
we get
sure.
more narrow and focused.
Yeah, I remember Joe Schroeder for sure.
I think so, but maybe not.
Is he still active?
What did Joe Schroeder do?
He was an MLM trainer.
Oh, I totally don't remember.
In the same time frame as Big Al, Schrader, and Randy Gage, and the guy that wrote Cash Copy, Jeffrey Lant.
Oh, I remember some of those names. So I've heard his name. I think I bought something from Jeffrey Lant.
Jeffrey wasn't just network marketing, but he had a lot of network marketing specific stuff. But yeah, he was a good copywriter, good marketer in general.
Cool. So what are some of the audiences, the Oholic audiences that you've successfully played in, Joshua?
Network marketing. I've successfully played in real estate investing. You're talking about more specific, more niche specific.
Yeah, like tribe specific. What are the audience that you can name that already existed before you and will continue existing after you? The parades that are already marching, right?
Law of Attraction, The Secret, the IM community before it was considered more mainstream.
Yeah.
When it was, when I came out with Don't Shoot the Guru Yet.
Yeah.
That was because everybody was like pissed at the gurus, and some of them, they had right to be pissed at, but it was like, hey, let's show you how to get value from that. So that was like a very Oholic niche at that time.
I think we should do like a series of live streams where we just talk about each one of the factors.
Yeah, the Christopher, the way that I like to sum up what the Oholic factor stands for and means is these are people that are saying the act of whatever their subject there, it's even beyond enthusiast. It's like there's a visceral attachment to it that when they see it, they say, I like that. And then the act of consuming it, whatever it is, whether it's information or something physical or whatever, they say, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. The act of actually consuming it doesn't satiate it. It makes them more hungry. It makes them more insane, and we're all kind of like that on different subjects. And it was the way that I look at, like, when you get in heat on certain subjects, like when I'm want to learn about driving traffic on Facebook, I study everything. I buy every program. I go in depth on, and not just one, but lots of them. And I go deep on it because at that moment I got to know all I can know and deeper and deeper. So the act of actually doing it, it's insatiable addicts. And I love the phrasing and the rhythm of, I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
There's an interesting factor here, and there are exceptions to this rule. But one of the when helping people choose a good audience, one of the most important factors, in my experience, is that the audience has a name for themselves. It's usually one word. And so we can say self-improvement junkies or people who are all woo-woo, and that's okay. It's obviously a huge market, but meditators is much more specific and
mindfulness.
Useful.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because they call themselves meditators, they label themselves based on the activity that they're Oholic about. Right.
Right.
And if with that label, when they label themselves, when they, stamp it on their chest and they have a one word label for themselves and people that participate, what happens is that it's much easier for them to find each other and form into groups. Okay.
Right.
And this
that could be it.
Mm-hmm. Right. So
Weirdos.
it could be woo-wooists, except they don't call them woo-wooists.
Right.
That's
That's
not
not
what they
something
call
that
themselves, right? So there's a lot of alternative spirituality that is specific within that greater world.
New
And
Agers.
New Agers, good, right? It's good.
Right.
And,
Well, I mean, that's still broad, right? I mean, there's all sorts of long tail carving up, and that's where things have shifted quite a bit. And frankly, that's where like there almost isn't anything that you can't have as a minimum viable audience, to start with. Like, because it's reachable now. It wasn't reachable back when I started in 97. It just wasn't reachable, but you can find them now and inexpensively enough to find them now.
That's right. That's right. So the good news here, Chris, is that what you're doing right now is a very common process, which is you're reaching, right? You're stretching to try to name them, and it's fun. But if there's a question mark behind your word, you got the wrong word, right? These are names that, like dentists. What do they call themselves? Dentists, right? They go to dental school.
And just to give an alternate point of view, I have had phenomenal success with naming it myself, and then it becomes something that people, Trumpists, never Trumpers, the whole mindful manifestors, manifestors. But it's not that they have to already have adopted it. Like, I'll go into a crowded market space and I will create my variation of whatever it is and name it. And then I build that vernacular, that tooth fixers. Yeah.
So, you know what? A really awesome version of this that jumps into my mind, Joshua, is the Mouseketeers. Right? Yeah. Walt Disney I'm assuming Walt Disney created the idea, but if it wasn't Disney, it was somebody that worked for him, right? The Mouseketeers. And the Mouseketeers are people who love Mickey Mouse. And they want to be and the Mouseketeers turned into the people, they're members of the Mickey Mouse Club. Right, to go with your Clubhouse reference. So you can name them. It is, and like, I mean, there's no doubt we've used it as an example many times, but people that love Jeeps and own Jeep, I mean, they're Jeep owners, right? But they don't have that's two words, not just one. So there are some exceptions, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, then there's like the old, I mean, it's the internet marketing standard, right? Like the dog training, right? And dog training and dog lovers is the broad term, but then there's, what's up, Max? Then there's the like, I've got golden retrievers, and there's people that are all about rescue dogs, and there's so many different subsets. And I remember seeing a group that they when Teespring was real popular, like 10, 12 years ago, there was a Facebook page all about Rottweilers. No, not Rottweilers. It was some traditional dog that people are scared of. But it's only in how if they've been raised wrong, then they turn into maniacs.
Like a pit bull or something like that.
Pitbull Mama. That was the t-shirt that went crazy, and they named it, and they just came Pitbull Mama. And Pitbull Mama was women who owned pit bulls that loved that, and they literally bought the t-shirt and wore it.
Yep. That's it.
Like my t-shirt says "Simplify," right? Like, and like, while I live in Florida, so the palm trees isn't all that noticeable, but I wear that because it's a reminder to myself to quit making life so overcomplicated.
That's right. So the key here is, even if you're going to name your own group, is to know the name of the group you're going after to begin with.
Pitties. Yeah. Pity. I was like, pity, what? And now I got it. Pit bulls. Yeah. Pitties. Right.
Cool. And when you do this, when you're super clear that you, I mean, what are other ways of finding these niches, these oholic markets, right? One way is to look how much money they spent on it. And that can be spent on school as a career or a profession, or it can just be as a hobby and an interest where you pour a ton of money into the hobby. So any of the higher degrees, you know, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're a dentist, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a chiropractor, whether you're an acupuncturist, you know, whether you're a historian, it gives you a good key as to the subject matter that the person is kind of a little bit obsessed with, right? Just a little bit more obsessed than your average Joe on the street. Oh, Average Joe. I haven't never sent out from Average Joe. People would love that. I'm going to send out from Average Joe later.
I'm surprised you haven't.
I haven't either.
I've used that as as an attention grabber. You know, the flag at the top of a marketing piece. You know, Average Joe and Jane's. That, you know, like, what do you do when? As a matter of fact, I think that's what I opened the original NPod sales letter with.
Average Joe, yo, nice. So, for you guys that are on Shabambists, nice, John. For you guys that are here, what's the name of the audience that you are actively building your audience around? Right, whether you're going to name it your own, but like who is the market that you are focused on attracting to you? Right, very curious.
And the second way of validating it, that's another positive way to I mean, you just want to verify that not only is it something that you're oholic about and other people are oholic about, but they're actually willing to spend money, to part with money to satiate that oholic tendencies. Like, the interesting thing is, like, between dog lovers and cat lovers, there's a whole lot more cat lovers on the internet. A whole lot more searches of cats, but they don't buy nearly as rabidly as dog owners. At least that used to be the case. I don't know if that still is, but when I first put NPod together, that was a prime example. Like, on the surface, you say, well, there's many more keywords about people that love cats, cat lovers, and that type of thing, but they don't buy like a dog owner buys. At least they haven't, and it makes sense because in a lot of cases, cats are so independent that they're not, you know, that they're going to do whatever the hell they want to do anyway. And, you know, there's no like training them to stop barking or, you know,
well, you can't train your cats to poop in the toilet, though.
I'm sure. But I mean, the people willing to pay for that are probably a small segment. It's true. The coasties, barefoot beach goers, you know, for Eugene. But the second way to validate that you've got something is look at where people in the direct response industry are spending money. And if they're not spending money, if you're not seeing ads, if you go to the Facebook ads library, go to the Facebook page of people that are you know, of targeted markets, of people that are appealing to the places that you're thinking about appealing to, and then click on the page transparency, and it'll tell you whether this page is running ads, and if so, what the ads are. It'll take you to the ad library, but you can also just search the Facebook ads library and see in what categories, what interest groups are running, and they'll show you like how long they'll be running, how many ads have been running. And it's not necessarily to steal the copy, but to have a swipe file, but to see, are they actually advertising? Because the chances are that if they're not continually advertising, that it's probably they haven't figured out a way. It doesn't mean that it isn't profitable, but they haven't figured out a way to make it profitable. And for sure, with Google AdWords and the ads on YouTube, you know, but anytime you see other people spending money to reach that group with any kind of consistency, especially today, because the ads have become so much more expensive online, that they have to know what they're doing to be able to survive in it.
There's another example of this. It's the same exact principle, and you're not going to see it for a little while because of COVID. But if you've been around for a bit and you're in your area of interest, then hopefully you've already experienced this, which is not only that there are conferences that people pay for and they fly across the country or the globe to attend, but there are conferences where there are booths that people pay money to set up at. So it's another example of paying for ads. You're paying for visibility at a conference for these people, right? Like, dog shows aren't going anywhere anytime soon. Like, you know, and dog conferences, you know, they take over hotels across, you know, I mean, it's not going to change. Yeah. I mean, it has changed temporarily because of COVID, but people still love their dogs, right? And spend a crap load of money on them. Hot peppers, as we were talking about earlier, same thing. Conferences all over the place, you know? But I'll tell you what, like as a hot sauce company, it's hard to spend money on ads and make money with hot sauce because it's more.
I would imagine
it's more expensive to ship it than it is to
well,
sell.
and it's also such a low margin and low price product. I mean, like to when you fall in love with your dog, you know, even though you're in love with hot sauces, okay, so like if you're the hot sauce enthusiast that you are, and you've got all the hot sauces in the world, but you know, at maximum is what that's like $100 worth of stuff.
Oh, at a given purchase, you mean?
Yeah, no, or like right now in your normal everyday life, like is it $100 worth of stuff that you eat and you consume on a regular basis?
I have 2 full cabinets with multiple shelves completely filled with bottles of hot sauce.
Okay, but how many times do you have to replace it?
Oh, well, yeah. So
what's the inventory churn is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, maybe like when I'm going out a lot more, $100 a month. You know, you can't really buy more than $100 a month of new hot sauce. Otherwise,
it's great, but that's not like that's the upper end. I mean, like you're probably at the absolute peak, which is fine if that's, you know, that's a viable model for, you know, a very small group. But on the other hand, you know, to then, but then you compare that to dogs, and you know, somebody will spend $50 on a special collar. Somebody will spend, you know, just because they are emotionally attached to the love that they believe they have to show their pets, and that they do show their pets.
That's right. So there's lots of subject. A new subject that I'm just dabbling in right now is lacto fermentation.
Okay.
I lacto fermented some salsa, and over the last couple of years, I got into like kimchi and kombucha.
Yeah.
And so I lacto fermented some salsa. I have some.
Is that the process that is that what it's called when you make kimchi?
Yeah. So I mean, basically what you're talking about in the case of kimchi is you take your cabbage, right? Throw some hot peppers and garlic and whatever else you're gonna have in your cabbage, and then you make a saltwater brine, right? And you pour the water. Pour the water, not too hot, or we'll destroy all the probiotics. Pour the water into the stuff, and you basically leave it on the counter for 2 weeks.
And that process is called what you just said?
Lacto fermentation. Yeah.
See, I assumed it had something to do with milk.
No, but you can use like kefir to start it. So it has to do with the type of bacteria, which isn't necessarily dairy based, right? And you let it ferment, and you have to keep all of the stuff down below the water line, otherwise it gets all moldy and weird, which you don't want to have happen. And basically it's a preservation process where you can take vegetables and have them. You can make fresh salsa and have it last 3-4 months, you know, in your fridge and have it be good. It looks a little weird, but tastes great. And so I'm making my first batch of lacto fermented hot sauce right now. So it's very exciting, but people buy special jars with special lids, and there's bloggers that just blog about lacto fermentation, and they show all their lacto ferments that they do, and they talk about how much they make their kids eat with every meal to make sure they have good gut health, you know. People really love it. They're totally down. So it's another area of interest where people get totally obsessive. They get really into it. Like fine cheese. People are nuts about like crazy, stinky, exotic, funky imported cheese, right?
No, well, if you're in a household with somebody that has a taste for kimchi, then self-preservation is about you battling back.
That's right. That's right. That's funny. We got business idea. Denver is green chili heaven, but no one has ever bottled the Hatch green chili gravy that rules Colorado, New Mexico. All right, well, go for it, dude. Hatch chili gravy, make it happen, or whoever that is.
That's Chris Lang, I believe.
All right, next business, Chris. That's what I'm talking about. Awesome. So earlier, Christopher said that he's really focused on doctors. We've talked to you about that in the past, which is awesome. He says, I'm building my audience around doctors and other healthcare professionals. And when you know that you're building it around doctors, you can say things like entrepreneurial healthcare professionals, doctors rolls off the tongue a little easier, who want to develop their online businesses, right? Boom. And I think you said break free from the golden handcuffs of being a doctor on salary at a hospital or whatever, right? Working crazy hours, stressed out beyond belief when you could be advising people on how not to catch a cold this fall. It's like,
Chris says he hates the stuff, but he loves it. But Denver loves it.
Interesting. I've never had Hatch green chili gravy myself.
Nor me.
I haven't spent enough time in Denver, clearly. Awesome. Yeah, guys. So this is the big thing. Is if you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to make more money, if you're trying to get more leverage and have your marketing have more impact, the clearer you can get about your alcoholic market and your alcoholic niche that you're really focused on growing and building, the easier it's going to be to attract those people to you, and the easier it's going to be for them to notice that you know what you're talking about and they want to hear more from you, right? Super, super, super important. That's just one of the factors that Joshua introduced me to many years ago, and we teach in the NPOD program that we often talk about during these live streams that our clients are going through. So if you're looking for the type of business that will really give you some of that security of income, the predictability of having a system running in the background, generating leads and driving sales for you 24/7 while you focus on what you're really, really, really good at in the business.
And love doing for a change.
That's right. And you like the idea of serving one of these alcoholic markets that you really should already be a member of, right? Then I would encourage you to scoop up one of the last calls that I have available in the next few days on my calendar at www.letstalkprivately.com. That's right. Awesome. I really like burned out doctors because they have such incredible pain to cure. I bet. And they're probably in their like late 50s, right? They've been doing it for a long time. They're done. They're ready to retire, but they don't want all their money to go away, and they probably have other stuff they want to do. What's that? Scooby-Doo?
Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Scooby-Doo, right back to you, I suppose. Whatever that means. Anyway. So I think that's about it. I mean, is there anything else that you have to say about choosing alcoholic markets and niches, Joshua?
I mean, we started off talking about email, and then it went to a very important place, and it's all interconnected. But I don't know if you want to, you asked me how important is it, and you didn't share from your point of view, nor did we ask any of the people, how important it is. There's no right answer. There's just their answer and your answer, and I'm just curious, like how much of a driver of business or how much of a lifeline is email for our people that are tuning in, that are watching.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been my saving grace for 17 years. I mean, it's been absolutely not only like the center and focus, but it has represented 95% of my income for almost 2 decades, right? Like that's a pretty significant thing, right? I need better writers.
For your emails, you mean?
We just had a we just had a good colleague, a friend and colleague reach out to us earlier today saying they were also
on that very subject.
A writer, right?
Yeah.
A client of mine centers on chiropractors. 100%. Chiropractors are historically a great market, especially to teach marketing to, because they're already open generally to a slightly more alternative way of looking at things and doing things differently. They tend to be a little bit out of the box as far as their thinking. They're kind of the black sheep of doctors in a way, right? No offense, chiropractors. I love chiropractors.
Plus, once they get a taste of what's possible with, good, powerful online direct response marketing driven stuff, and how that flips the tables and brings business to them where they're not always chasing, getting people into it's like game changing. And then they're addicts. I mean, in terms of they become aholic on direct response online marketing as a result.
Christopher, something interesting just popped into my mind. I don't know if this would be helpful to you or not, but I was thinking about eye doctors. I was thinking about just now. I was thinking about optometrists, and the reason I'm thinking about optometrists and eye doctors is because often they have a store that sells glasses in the front of their office, right? And lenses and prescription lenses and the whole thing. Like, they're selling a lot of product, unlike most doctors, right? Most doctors aren't selling a lot of product. They're selling their time, the service, the tests that you have to take or whatever. But eye doctors, they spend a little bit of time selling their time and a lot of time selling glasses. And I bet you could build some ripping lead generation machines for optometrists and eye doctors on a local level. And as you've been talking about doctors, I was like, I wonder what would happen if Christopher focused on a specific type of doctor. That was going the conversation in my head. And then optometrists. I don't even know what an ophthalmologist is. What the heck is that? I've heard the word. I've never been to see one.
The John Mellenson says that email is 90% of his income, but as a vendor, because he's, I guess, doing maybe he either brokers or he has large lists that he does targeted broadcast to massive lists. Yeah, man, it's amazing. It's the engine. Every time I hear something about how email's dead, I just laugh.
That's right. The only people that say email's dead are people who aren't very good at doing email, I found.
Or they're trying to sell you whatever they're trying to sell you at that moment, some new technology. Not to say that new technology isn't worth exploring, but, oftentimes it's because they want to, downplay that so that they can upplay whatever they want to, the pain emphasis.
Right. Marilyn says ophthalmologists are eye doctors. Thank you, Marilyn. I see. Yeah, I just Googled it. That's great.
It's like I purposely hate going to, get my eyes checked because I know that I got to sit through this long pitch of these overpriced glasses. And I'm too nice because I'm, being a marketer in sales, and I don't want to be like, but I just sit there and nod, and I'm like, I have no intention of buying, these $500, $800 pair of glasses when I literally get the same thing at Costco for, $50.
Right.
And I do have retina issues that I have to go and I've had retina surgery to make sure that every year I have to make sure that it's not continuing to, that it's maintaining the laser treatments of, that it's not progressing any further. So, I know exactly what you're talking about. Luckily, the retina, when I go to the retina folks, it's not a pitch fest.
That's right. You guys want to hear a fun fact about eyes? One of the most common, unusual, and unexpected side effects of hypnosis is that very often, if people wear glasses and they start using hypnosis, they find their vision goes blurry. Why? Because they relaxed the muscles in and around their eyes on a continual basis. It changes the shape of their lens on their eye, on their eyeball. That's the retina, right? The lens. And they have to get their prescriptions reduced because their eyesight is actually improving. I've had numerous clients over the years who called me back saying, "What the heck did you do to me?" Right? I don't need glasses anymore, or I was able to, dramatically reduce my prescription. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's you're reminding me that it's time to get back to meditating again.
That's right. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you everybody for your
Yeah, thanks for all the awesome participation.
all the comments. Really great seeing you all. And that's about it for now. Thank you, Joshua. Thank
you, sir.
Thank
My
you,
pleasure.
John. Thank you,
Marilyn and Chris
Gene,
Lang and
all of our
Gene, of course.
Awesome. Eye exercises are useful. Rock and roll. All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Have a great afternoon and a wonderful weekend.
See you, Christopher. Bye.
All right. Toodaloo.